Welcome to Beginner Basics, Inductively Study the Bible, Part 1, Observation. And I'm really excited about tonight's topic. It's really practical and helpful. Many things I'm going to show you I still do in my sermon prep and Bible study. Now, if you can't stay the whole night or you miss a night, we do make the video available at LearnLogos.com/replay. We try to get those videos up tonight or very early tomorrow morning. It's available for 5 days and it's a stream only, no download. Then, if you're interested in buying, we have set up the buy link tonight. So if you get into this webinar and realize, man, this has got a lot of information, that's going to be available for you. Let me just do make sure one thing. Yep. So you can get that at LearnLogos.com/buy now. We do discount just for tonight only the $6 sale. So that way we're kind of incentivizing you to say, hey, if you want to buy it, take advantage of the early bird special. After tomorrow, I return the price back to $7.99. So be aware of that. Let's get started. Now, the topics tonight is introduction. Why is this important? Step 1, setting the stage for observing the text. Step 2, what to observe. We're going to take a little digression into some key AI prompts. I like to include a little AI every webinar. And then step 3, questions, summaries for the next stage of interpretation. And then lastly, we did mention that we're going to start involving the mobile app. So we'll show you some features in the mobile app that are useful for inductive Bible study if you have a mobile app, and we'll be using the iPad version. So let's begin with why is this important? Let me go ahead and open up Logos here. And here is the personal book. So you can see here we got the table of contents, and there's a lot of details coming your way. All right, so the reason this is important, and let me stress this, by the way, I do have a bunch of other videos on inductive Bible study related webinars. Let me just give you that link in case you want to check them out. They are different versions of Logos, but the principles still apply. So there's the link for that. And as far as why this is important, I thought I had saved it. There it is. Okay. Observation is the foundational stage for Bible study. The proper observations not only avoid misinterpretation, but one can gain significant insight into the biblical text. I can't stretch this enough. The better you get at observing, the better you'll get at understanding. The two go hand in hand. Now, there's a couple books that I do want to bring to your attention that I think are really valuable for inductive Bible study if you want to go deeper. All right. The first one is kind of a classic. I'll give you the links for all these. And the first one is David Arthur, K. Arthur, and Pete DeLacy, How to Study Your Bible. This is the Precept Ministries manual for inductive Bible study. Very introductory, very basic, very foundational, and it's a Logos book, so take advantage of that. But if you want to go deeper and take your observations to a whole nother level, then I recommend the Inductive Bible Study. In fact, let me go ahead and just open up this resource so you can see it. This is really more like a hermeneutics book, but it's built off of the foundation of observation, interpretation, and application. But it really is a very expansive book and goes much deeper and gets more technical than the K. Arthur resource. And then the book that started it all, at least in the last 50 years, is Irving Jensen's Independent Bible Study. Let me go ahead and open up that one, and you can see that. This is kind of a combination or a halfway point between K. Arthur's book and the Traina book. And I really like this one because he really does a good job of keeping it clean and simple, but he also shows you how to do some things like an analytical chart, which is pretty cool. And so these are 3 really good books that I recommend for growing your knowledge. And then another one, which is by Kostenberger and Furr, is Inductive Bible Study. This is more along the lines of Trainer, where it's a little more technical, but still very accessible. And just another more recent resource that I think you'll find really helpful. Like here's an example, 7 sensible principles to guide our thinking through Scripture. The literal principle, the contextual principle, the one meaning, the exegetical, the linguistic, the progressive, and the harmony principle. These are really good thoughts that help you, especially when you get to interpretation. So I think all 4 of these books are really helpful. There's also a free resource that's in your Logos library. And if you just type in Inductive Bible Study with Logos and click on the library icon, Again, that's library icon, Inductive Bible Study with Logos. Then click Rank. You'll see Logos Tutorials, Inductive Bible Study with Logos. This is a very introductory resource, not very complicated, but it has some old kind of like screenshots, so be aware of that. But nevertheless, still very helpful. But as you can see, I just clicked on all the pages. So very basic, but nevertheless, it's a free resource. All right, let's get started then to the next part of our PowerPoint here. And that is step 1, setting the stage for observing the text. Now, there's a lot of things that I've created for you tonight for you to download. So let's walk through those so you have all these tools. So first thing is we're going to go to Documents, then click on Public. But don't click on Public till both sides of the screen refresh. All right? And what we want to do is we want to type in this first one, and I'll go ahead and paste this so you don't have to type it out. Inductive Bible Study, LearnLogos.com. There you go. And what we want to do is click on it once, and you will see also below it a visual filter. So what I recommend is click the first one. Then if you're on a PC, press Control-A. If you're on a Mac, press Command-A. So we want to download Basic Bible Study, Inductive Bible Study, and Inductive Bible Study. Just download both of those. So click Add to your docs. You'll see a blue bar appear and disappear quite quickly, and that's to let you know it's downloaded. We're going to also download this one, Inductive Bible Study Workflow. So let me paste that in there. There you go. And again, we'll go to Documents. We'll paste that in the box. Give Logos a minute to open it up. And then click on that once to select it. Then click Add to your docs, and you're good to go. All right. The next one, many of you have this, but some of you may not. So, and I've also refreshed it. So we're going to select NT verbs, paste that in there. We'll go to Documents. And this time I'm just going to type in verbs, parenthesis, learn Logos. And the reason I'm doing that, .com, is that'll get us Old Testament verbs and New Testament verbs. Now, this can be a little tricky because there's some other people who've put some stuff in here. So the one you want is OT verbs, John Fallahy, and then hold the Control button down for a PC or the Command button for the Mac, and we'll select NT verbs. And that way you've got both of them. And then click Add to your docs, and you'll see the blue bar appear, disappear to let you know you've downloaded it. So that'll be really helpful. We'll be using that for sure tonight. All right, so those are some free resources that we've created for you. We've already done theological highlights, so I think we're good there, and so forth. So now let's talk about what you've just downloaded so you know what you have. So let's, the Inductive Bible Study Visual Filter. Let's open that up. So I'm going to go to Documents. We're going to click on Yours, and we're going to do the Inductive Bible Study. So I'm just going to type in Inductive. All right, there it is, Inductive Bible Study Visual Filter. Let's click on that to open it up. Now, what I've done is I have combined the key essentials. This is not everything, but this is some of the more frequently things you're going to observe. Notice this is similar to the Louw-Nida because I borrowed from that, as well as some other ones. So we've got the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, the how, some more why, conditional statements, contrasts, and then specifically if the second person you is singular or plural. Now, this isn't exhaustive of what you can do, but the idea here is to cover the big ones. Now, the way this works is up at the top, we have our settings. And we have now all Bible text, all passages, but I have selected the New American Standard. If you have a different preferred Bible, it needs to be interlinear, and you can click here and then change that Bible. But for this training, we're going to use the New American Standard. So I'm going to click on the library icon, type in the NASB 95, and open that up. Now let me show you how this works. We're going to click the visual filter, scroll, collapse all the menus, go down to visual filters, check the box, because we need to enable visual filters. Then we need to scroll down to Inductive Bible Study. Now you can see mine's already enabled. There it is. And I want to show you how this works. So I'm going to go to Mark chapter 10, verse 46. I preached this passage last Sunday. The advantage of this tool is that it's automatically finding and tagging for you to prompt you to ask the question who, what, where, when, how, why, and other things to observe in the text. So that's the benefit of the visual filter. The second visual filter that we have, let's click on Documents and type in NT Verbs since we're in the New Testament. And so we got NT Verbs, Learn Logos. And this is a little more complex, all right? Probably should get rid of the plural. Let's see, is it both yellow? Yeah, so I'll probably have to remove that one just so we don't run into some contradiction there or some overlapping. All right. Now, the way this works, so again, we'll click on the visual filter in our preferred Bible. Notice that this is New American Standard or ESV, so be careful on which translation you're using. And we're going to scroll down to NT Verbs in the list. Once we locate that, we're going to check the box. And there we go, NT Tense, NT Verbs, there it is. Now, you don't have to use these at the same time, but you can. It's not too overwhelming. But what this focuses on is the verbs. You can see the color coding. This is to let you know what's going on. The highlighted green verbs, if you float your mouse over it and look at the bottom, this is an imperative. The red is the indicatives. So this is to let you know where the verbs are in the biblical text. And that is another important observation to make. If it is too much information, then I recommend just doing one or the other, not both at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the inductive, and that way you can see just the verbs. Notice I also mentioned if it's middle voice or if it's plural. There you go. So that way it's kind of covered for both. So I think we're in good shape in either way. Also, we have passive, all right? So the idea is middle is the subject is both doing and receiving the action. So he began to cry. He's doing the action, but it's his tears, so he's receiving, all right? Began to cry out. Then the passive is where someone is receiving the action, all right? So answering him. There you go. So passive and middle are really important to understand in Greek, and so that's why I label those. So I think you'll find this very useful in your observations. All right, so that takes care of that. Let's talk about the theological highlights that we've downloaded. So we're going to go to Tools and do Highlights. And we're going to show you how to leverage all this in a little bit, but I want to make sure that you have it. So we're going to go to Tools, type in the word High, click on Highlighting. You'll have to scroll down all the way to Theological. There it is in the list, and there it is. And the idea here is there's 13 theological observations. These are the 13 great themes of the Bible. Every passage will leverage one or reference one or more of these categories. And I did separate angels from Satan and demons, and I separated Israel from the church. So very important distinctions there. And I also include cosmology. That includes those things that are created both in the spiritual and material universe. So very important distinctions, and that'll help you in going deeper in your observations. Okay, so one more thing, we have a custom workflow as well. So we're going to go to Guides, and we're going to type Inductive. Actually, we'll just type in LearnLogos. That's probably the easiest way to do this. And it's the Inductive, let me go to the new ones, Custom Workflows, Inductive Bible Study Workflow, Enhanced. This is from a previous webinar, but basically, you just open it up, type in a passage, let's say John 3:16, and you press Enter, and it will walk you through a very basic step-by-step process of doing observation. Now, tonight's presentation is going to be a little bit different than this model, very similar to observation interpretation. It's just that we're going to do some more observations with some of these topics, but we won't do any interpretation. So we are going to look at observe some words, observe some grammars, observe some cross-references, but we won't look at commentaries but we will observe some theology. And the key here is to observe it, not make any conclusions, or at least keep it open. That's the idea. So we're going to go much deeper into the observe stage than you're going to see here in this workout. So that's been included for you as well. That's been built for you guys to help guide you in the process. There's also some custom collections that you can download. There's one more I need to make sure you have. So we're going to go to Documents. In fact, let me go ahead and select this one and paste that in there for you. And let me do the OT verbs in case you didn't have that from before. And then we go ahead and we'll go to Documents. We'll go to Public. And there's the hermeneutical, exegetical LearnLogos. So we'll click on the item. Then we'll click Add to your docs. And it's downloaded really quick. So let me open up this particular collection. So I'm going to go to Tools on the menu, type in Collect, and then click Collections. Next, we'll click Open. I'm going to paste that same name in there, and there's hermeneutical exegetical. So what's this collection for? This is a collection of all the resources in your library connected to Bible study, hermeneutics, inductive Bible study. This will include books, courseware, everything in between. And so if you want to search your hermeneutical, exegetical, inductive Bible study, how to study books for particular topics and how to do something, this collection makes it real easy to do that. And then we have the Uber Inductive Bible Study. This is gold. So let me click on, let's go to Documents. We need to download this one as well. Let me go ahead and paste that there for you. So we're going to go to Documents. There's Uber Inductive Bible Study. You click Public. There it is. Click on it once, then click Add to your docs. And we're going to use that this evening as well. Now, before we jump into this, a couple more tools in Logos. So these tools I've created for you, these tools you all have if you have Logos Bible software. We are going to take a look at notes, clippings, and passage lists. These are the three primary documents that I use for making observations. Now, the cross-references that you're going to find and discover, those are going to go into your passage lists because they're really designed to capture that. Whenever you do any kind of summarization, organizing information, that's where the notes are going to come in handy. And then the last thing, as you're studying, you're going to come across a lot of great information, and it's going to slow you down if you stop, read, and start interpreting. So we use clippings to grab and go. Grab that text, highlight that information, select it, add it to your clippings, and move on. We'll come back to those later. We're going to show you how to create a layout for inductive Bible study that focuses on this process. We're going to leverage the fact book, and of course, we always need to pray when it comes to Bible study. So I put that in there just as a reminder. All right, let's move into, if I'm not seeing any questions, in fact, let's just pause here. Are there any questions on all this information that we've shown? These are all the tools that we're going to leverage tonight to study the Bible inductively. Okay, so just post those questions and we'll continue with part 2. All right, so let's go to step 2, what to observe. And this is really the key next week in the webinar.